Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for the late start, but we're here now. So let us begin as we begin all things. Affirmative prayer. Please join me. In this moment, we recognize that there is one power and one presence. This power and this presence finds its perfect expression in, through, and as each person who participates in this meeting this evening. All ideas expressed are expressed from within love. They bring light, they bring joy, and each person feels at one with that presence. We breathe this in now, and we allow this presence to find its perfect expression through each one of us here this evening, at this time, in this place. I give thanks for this, so that I release these words now into that infinite law that knows how to make it so. And so it is. Okay. Give me a moment here. I need to find the talk. Lord have mercy. You know what? I am going to go to my handwritten notes if you give me 2 seconds. Okay, I'm back. I'm not usually this discombobulated, okay? You see, that's why the topic is holy crap. Fertilizer for spiritual growth. Are any of you offended by this title? Just let me know gently, but you should know me by now. Piety is not my strong suit. I'd like to start with a quotation from Toni Morrison, who says, "The grandeur of life is about the fearless attempt under the most trying of circumstances, behaving as beautifully and as elegantly as we can." You know, we're in the last days of Easter, according to the Christian tradition, the days before Jesus fulfilled his mission through his relatively short ministry on this planet. I can imagine he could have had a few holy crap moments during this week. He was, after all, having a human experience, which included some doubt, some disappointment, some fear, some anxiety, some trepidation over what was about to take place. And he was well aware of the unfolding situation. It was not a surprise. None of it was a surprise. The betrayal, the sham trial, the followers and wagonists turning on him. So when he went up to the mountain to pray that last time, as recorded in Matthew 26, verse 39, his prayer was, "Father, if it's possible, let this cup pass from me." That was a holy crap. You're really asking me to do this? Really? And then came the surrender. "Not my will, but thine." Okay, I'll do it as best I can, as elegantly as I can. I'm trusting faithfully in a perfect outcome. In John chapter 10, verse 17 and 18, we read, These are Jesus's words, speaking to his disciples. Therefore doth my Father love me, because I lay down my life that I may take it again. No man taketh it from me. I lay it down of myself. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it again. This commandment have I received of my Father. And further down at verse 30, he says, I and my Father are one. There are some spiritual lessons we can gain from Jesus's experience here. He was, like I said before, fully human and at the same time, fully spiritual. He embraced both aspects of his nature because it was important for those around him and for those following him to understand that despite trials and tribulations that could befall them, it is always possible to rise above it. You know, I remember when I was going through my own personal trauma and speaking with my then minister, Dr. Arlene Baum. And I was talking, I don't know what to do under the circumstances. And she said, so what are you doing under the circumstances? Get out from under it and rise above it. He had to teach his disciples to rely solely on the power within. And this power is available to everyone, including us. In this teaching, we're always reminded that Jesus was not an exception, but a fantastic example of surrendering to a greater good. Can you think, I'm sure you can, can you think of any situations in your own experience where you were faced with what seemed like impossible circumstances? Oh, holy crap, how do I get out of this scenario? You can respond in the chat if you feel like. Well, what happened? Clearly you survived because you're still here. What shifted in you that gave you the strength, the courage, the willingness to allow Spirit to guide the solution? Now, Jesus's attitude could be applied to any situation we may encounter, whether it's physical, mental, financial, or otherwise. We can fight it, we can curse it, we can rack our brains trying to fix it, or we can say, over to you, God, show me the way. In that surrender, there is peace. Even if there is a lingering fear, the fact that we shifted our position allowed us to see from a different perspective. And the impossible now fades away to reveal possibilities, right? We can never arrive at that place, though, as long as we cling desperately to our limited views and ideas. At some point, we have to recognize when an idea or a viewpoint has outlived its usefulness and no longer can sustain our growth, spiritual or otherwise. All growth depends on proper nutrients that support the life force, whether those nutrients are distributed mentally, physically, or spiritually. If you plant a seed in nutrient-rich soil and provide the right conditions, it will flourish. And by the way, did you know that it is possible for the soil to be so enriched that weeds don't grow in it? Yeah, I didn't believe it until I actually visited a farm when I lived in Calgary. And the rich black loam that the farmers used was so rich, it guaranteed a weed-free garden, whether they were planting flowers or vegetables. You see, I see that as comparable to being all prayed up. You know, you're so spiritually enriched that the negative thoughts can't take root. What do you think accounted for the richness in the soil? And we're talking chemical-free gardening here. You know, I spent many summers at my grandmother's home in St. Elizabeth. Now, those of you who come from country and spend time in country will know what I'm talking about. She had the most spectacular garden that tourists would drive by just to take pictures. Well, one of our tasks as kids was to go to the pasture and collect the cow patties in a crocus bag and bring them back so the gardener could dry them and beat them to a coarse ground that she would then spread all around her flower beds. What do you think happened? The result was healthy, flourishing, constantly blooming, bountiful gardens. Only Kingston people who come down to St. Elizabeth would say, ew, nasty. Huh. But guess what? The crap did that. Listen, if you want your life to flourish, to blossom and bloom, don't scorn the crap that shows up. Recognize there's value in it and learn to use it effectively as nourishment for your spiritual growth. That failed relationship, that job loss, that financial crisis, that medical diagnosis, that legal verdict, these may have arrived because of poor decisions on our part, but they can be transformative experiences if we are willing to see the possibilities and act accordingly. I'm sure we all know someone, could even be you, who had what might have been considered a horrible experience at some point in life. It left them, you know, clutching at their pearls and gasping for air. 50 years later, they're still gasping for air and clutching their pearls. They speak about it with such passion like it happened yesterday. They feel the pain, the anger, the frustration, the disappointment all over again, willing revenge and bad mind on the perpetrators. Is that helpful? I don't think so. A far better use of all that pent-up energy would be to reframe the situation as a learning experience and to ask, what did you come to teach me? To learn to love myself more, to make better health choices, to learn how to manage my finances, to watch the company I keep. These are lessons. You may notice that these questions are all inner-directed, self-directed. It's never about who did what to me and how can I get back at them. That's never it. The real question is, how can I improve and free myself from the shackles of error thinking? Jesus' mission was to prove the eternality of life. And that was a huge order. And he did it brilliantly through surrender. You know, we just want to learn how to love ourselves. Surely we can manage that if we apply the same principles that Jesus did. Everything that we seek is already within us, seeking an outlet through us. Let me say that again. Everything that we seek is already within us, seeking an outlet through us. Our Declaration of Principles states, we believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. I'm going to leave you with an affirmation that I have paraphrased from Richer Living, which is written by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker. This is the Richer Living for today, April the 15th. I am now open and receptive to God's ideas, and they transform me into a new, better person. I am an open channel for the production and dissemination of peace, beauty, light, and power. I am a blessed outlet of an infinite mind. That is how you use Holy Crap to enlighten, to inspire, and to make a better you. Because you're the only person that you can improve. Remember that. Namaste. Are there any comments, any thoughts that anybody would like to share?
Hey, Carol, evening. This is
Hi,
Jen.
Jen. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the affirmation, and I personalized it,
Okay. Great.
resonated with me. Everything that I seek is already within me, seeking
Right.
expression through me.
Right.
And that just stayed with me because, of all the things that you said, it just rang a chord as if, yeah, that is really so. And I like the whole topic about, is not anybody doing it to us, because that is always the default position.
Mm-hmm.
Can always find somebody to blame for the things that's happening to us.
Yeah, because that's easy.
Yeah, yeah. Forgetting that it is already in us,
yeah,
and expressing through us. So yes, thank you for those words.
You're welcome. Anybody have any situations that they can think of that, at the time you might have thought this is the end of the world? No, we're done. Right? But here we are. We found a way through it, and we're arrived on the other side of that door, wiser, kinder. Give up the bad man. That's right, Dawn. No other comments? Okay. Are there any prayer requests? No prayer requests either? Are you all still here? Okay, Dawn, joy and light. Here we go. And Dawn, you wanted health as well.
And I have a right action in there, Carol.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay, I'll start with, and you can put it in the chat still. Any requests that you have. Okay, Carol, I see. I'm gonna start with light for joy for Carol. And for anyone else who is tuned into the idea of light, accept this for yourself. Right here in this moment, we recognize God, that infinite wisdom, that light that lights the way, that lights the pathway, that enlightens and enlivens our minds, our consciousness, to be open to recognize the truth of our beingness. In this wisdom, in this light, we allow ourselves to be guided to right decisions. We allow this wisdom to go before us, to light the pathway for us, so that we can't put a step wrong. We cannot dash our foot against a stone because we know where we're going, we know how we're going to get there, and we are guided every step of the way. We surrender to this guidance now. There is no need to fight it, to force it. We just need to get out of the way and allow ourselves to be led. We don't always have to control everything. We can trust that the right way is being opened before us. And the right way will lead to right outcomes. In our minds, we know that that wisdom is dawning now as light and illumination, bringing a sense of ease in any decision that needs to be made. We know what to do, we know how to do it, and the way is revealed to us now as we open ourselves to it. We know that God works in us, as us, through us. And this wisdom that God is the wisdom that we use. This light is our light. And as we recognize this light, we also accept we are the light. So we do not cower in front of circumstances. We simply stand firm in the truth and allow our light to shine, so that each person in our atmosphere recognizes that they too have access to this light, to this wisdom that guides every process, every step. We give thanks for this knowing. I release these words now, knowing that whatever decisions need to be made are now made. The answers are revealed on time, at the right time, and in ways that are easily recognized and acted upon with grace and trust and faith. This is the truth about who we are. This is the truth about each person tuned into the idea of a light-filled consciousness. I give thanks for this, and I release these words now into that infinite love, giving thanks that all this is already so. So it is. This is an affirmative prayer of right action. This is affirmative prayer of right action for Jennifer and for myself and for anyone else who is tuned in to rightness. There is God and only God, the one power, the one presence, the one beingness. There is one life which we live. This is a life that is God, that life force, that life essence that animates every aspect of our being, every aspect of life itself. There is not a place that God is not. There is not a situation that is not touched by God. There is no solution that is beyond God. Therefore, we can rest assured that whatever activity needs to take place, it is the right activity. Because with God at the center, God at the circumference, God at every space in between, only one activity is ever taking place, and that is the right action of God. We surrender to this knowing, and we activate this God quality within ourselves to know the right thing to do, to know the right way to go, the right words to speak, the right actions to take, the right associations to engage in. We know that with God as our guide, we walk hand in hand with this powerful presence. We know that whatever we are doing, whatever we are needing, it is revealed to us in right and perfect ways. All our actions speak to the power and the presence of God acting in us, as us, and through us. So decisions are made confidently, easily. Right activity is fulfilled effortlessly. Everything that we need already is, because God is all there is. Knowing this, then, I confidently release these words into that law of life, which already knows how to do whatever it is that needs to be done, and is revealing to each of us now the right action, the right activity that needs to take place for the fulfillment of our desires. I give thanks for this knowing, and I release these words now, and let them be so. So it is.
So it is.
Treatment of health for Dawn. This body temple in which we live is a temple of the living God. This temple radiates health. This temple is awash in goodness and vibrancy. Every cell, every tissue, every function, every issue is right and perfect in this temple. Whatever may appear to be out of sync is released and dissolved into the nothingness from whence it came. Only goodness remains. Only healthful expression remains. All that is needed to demonstrate the wholeness and the liberty of God is now present in Dawn's life and affairs. Her physical body simply vibrates with the health of God. Every step she takes is filled with light and ease, and she simply glides. Every function of her physical body, from the crown of her head through to the soles of her feet, are filled and radiate with energy and the vitality that God is. Perfect health is her experience now. healthy body is a happy body. And she is happy in her healthy body. I know this to be the truth for Dawn. Anything that contradicts this idea of perfect health is now banished. It is no more. Only health remains. Only goodness is expressed. And their cells rejoice in this recognition of their wholeness and their perfection. Every breath that she breathes is God. Every function is God. Every aspect of her physique is redolent with God. She knows this now. She appreciates this and she lives from this recognition, allowing God to be what God is, perfect, whole, and complete as her. I give thanks for this knowing, and I release these words, knowing that health, perfect health, radiates now from Dawn and anyone else who is tuned into the idea of health. I give thanks. This is already so. So it is. And now for joy. God is joy. What is joy? The laughter that bubbles up from within, the happiness that we feel, that sense of oneness, that sense of wholeness, that sense of rightness, that lightness of being, that assurance that right where we are exactly in the right place, doing exactly what is right for each one of us. Everything that we need, everything that is necessary for us to express the absolute joy that God is already within us. It's already seeking its perfect expression through us. So we simply relax. We open our hearts, we open our minds, we open ourselves to let this joy out so that our atmosphere is filled to overflowing. Everything we touch brings a smile. Every word that we speak is a word of gentleness and lightness. Every encounter that we have is one of pure joy and happiness. This is the right expression for us as God beings. We are now happy. Joy is our nature, and happiness is the result of our recognizing that nature. Happiness can be our default position. So we accept that now. Happiness is how we express God. And God is laughing. God is joyous. God is simply glad that we have chosen joy and happiness as our expression. So we know this to be the truth of our being. We know that whatever we encounter, we can transform it with a joyous attitude. We live by this. We let this be our default position. Joy and happiness are who we are, the truth of who we are, the truth of how we are. Thank you, God, that this is so. I release these words and let them be joyously so right now. So it is. Okay, Yvonne for wholeness. Thank you, Leighton. Okay, we'll do wholeness for Yvonne. Right now, I am knowing Yvonne as that perfect expression of wholeness, that perfect beingness that God is. She is already whole. She is already complete in the recognition and the demonstration of the wholeness that God is. There is no place in her physique where God is not present. So anything that seems out of whack, out of touch, is simply dissolved and removed with effortless ease, so that all that remains is that feeling of wholeness. She stands on this truth, and she stands in this radiant shower that is blessing her now, that is transforming every cell, every tissue, every function, every issue into the truth about who she is. God in full, radiant, vibrant expression. There's a pep in her step. There's a twinkle in her eye. She knows herself to be the very essence of God. Whole, perfect, completely well. There is no other way for Yvonne to be, because she is the divine expression on this plane of existence. God is. Yvonne is. And all is well, because there is none other. God is the only power, the only presence, the only life in which we live. I declare this for Yvonne now. Wholeness is the reality of her being. I give thanks for this as I release these words now, knowing that they are already fulfilled as I have spoken. So it is. Okay. Is there anything else? Anyone else? No? Okay, then. Can do our notices and our announcements. I'm not sure if Sandy is here yet. She was driving in from Linstead, so she might not be here yet. I don't have the announcements in front of me. Carol, what do you mean? Okay. Anyone have the announcements? I don't have them, and Sandy's not here yet. Vance, do you have the announcements?
There is but there's a 11 a.m. service
for Good Friday.
on Good Friday. Yeah.
I believe that's the classes are ongoing still. The discussion on
Vance, can I share? I think I can find them for you, Carol. Hopefully this works. I don't know. I'll try.
okay.
Yeah, man. You can share, Kevin. You can share.
Oh, okay. Just share screen and screen. It will be recorded. Do not. Share. No, it's not allowing me to share. What is going on here? Hmm. Wow. Share from screen. Screen broadcast. And not allowing me.
But it says you're assigned as co-host, so you should be able to share.
I know, but it's not.
Well, I'm not sure that there's any
Email. Maybe that's what it is. So the notices are on the classes continue. We practice in the presence on Thursdays, and that's at
No, we're
7 p.m.
finished practicing the present.
with
Are you
practitioner
finished that?
Vance and
Yeah, we're
Steve.
finished.
You're finished with that this week, or you finished last week?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Finished
So the
last
next
week.
one
This week is just
is
a
Good
general
Friday service
discussion.
at 11 a.m. Spiritual Mind Healing Service at the temple with, sorry, Vance, you were saying?
No,
Vance?
continue.
Oh, yeah. So Good Friday service is on April 18th at 11 a.m. Reverend Ann Shand, assisted by Reverend Michael. And then we have World Labyrinth Day on Saturday, May 3rd. So stop by and allow yourself the spiritual reset by walking the labyrinth. And then, of course, we have Temple Diaspora group that is starting online on May 5th. That's Monday evening. And Tuesday, starting May 6th, there will be a grief support facilitated by Lorraine Jones in the book room.
Who is Lorraine Jones, please?
And beyond that, those are the announcements.
Jennifer, can you tell me who is Lorraine Jones?
She's a grief counselor. Her place is called Unlimited Support. And she has her own grief counseling group. I guess she's using the facility and extending it to us.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes. So that's on starting May 6th between 6 p.m. and 7:30 Tuesday evening. So there could be a conflict of our times because we are at 6 with healing service. But it's gonna be, I guess, open to temple persons to attend as well. Don't have any details beyond what's on the slide.
Okay.
And then, of course, if you want to continue to support the temple, donations, offerings, and tithes, then please do so at donate.templeoflightcsl.org, where you'll find our banking details. And with that, Carol, you can move to the love offering blessing.
All righty.
I'll hand it back to you.
Well, for those who are ready to bless the temple with an offering, you can say the love offering blessing. Lovingly I give, joyfully I receive. Be thou fruitful, increase and multiply. Bless, prosper, and enrich everyone whom you touch, and replenish all of my financial affairs. So be it. Thank you, Father, and so it is. And I think we need to say the prayer of our temple.
Prayer of our center.
Yes. Everybody know it by heart, no? Or no? Okay.
Yeah, we do.
Let's go. Temple of Light, Center for Spiritual Living, is a sacred field
free
embodying our spiritual
community
from which the Christ, peace, love, and joy emanate.
from which the Christ,
to heal, to bless, to prosper,
joy emanate,
liberate anyone who comes into contact with it in any way. The light of the Christ illumines us, our center, and our environment. Our spiritual community is filled with and surrounded by the presence of God and is growing from strength to strength. The power of God expands our consciousness of truth, guiding us ceaselessly along the paths of wisdom, spiritual growth, unfoldment, and attainment. We are blessed, and to God be the honor and the glory forever. And so it is. While we're at it, why don't we just also do the prayer of Jamaica? The radiant light of God's love is now flowing through us and from us to everything and everyone it touches. The eternal light of God's love now completely fills, covers, and surrounds our island, Jamaica. The glowing intensity of the light of God's love now interpenetrates and awakens within the hearts and minds of our countrymen and women the truths of life which set free. The light of God's love is growing and glowing in intensity in the hearts and minds of mankind everywhere. Love, health, harmony, goodwill, peace, uprightness, integrity, joy, prosperity, kindness, and our oneness under God are now established. And so it is. And I speak these words for the entire world. With thanks that this is so. And so it is. And now let us close out this evening's meeting with an affirmative prayer. Before I do that, does anyone have any demonstrations?
There's a comment in the chat from Carol.
I saw it. Yes. Thank you, Carol.
And there's a chat something in there. Thank you. I got kicked off.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a comment from Leighton as well, which is up top. Yes, Leighton. Every moment we are in paradise. That's a choice. That's a choice we make. All right, let's do our closing affirmative prayer. We give thanks. We give abundant thanks for this evening's powerful presence within, around, supporting every idea that is expressed. We know that right where we are part of that powerful presence, that love energy, that light-filled wisdom. This is us. This is who we are, because God works in, through, and as us. Our mind reflects the mind of God. Our hearts are open to the influx of the love of God. Our hands do the tasks of God. Our feet take us on the pathway towards God. This evening has been wonderful, wonder-filled, joy-filled, love-filled. So as we go from this meeting this evening to our respective destinations and activities, we go as one, as God. We take the joy, the peace, the light, the love with us into every experience. to uplift, to enlighten, and to inspire. For this I truly give thanks as I release these words now into that infinite law, giving thanks that it is already so. So it is.
So it is. So it is. Thank you so very much.